change with the chance to thrive. Crystal is the one to stir up gifts to save lives. You get exposure, promotion, and marketing too. And advertise for business owners just like you. On Storytime, your interview is global. Virtual or in person, just come on the show. Yo, your story matters. Crystals will open the door. 40 years of experience, ready to give you more on Storytime. Get ready for Storytime. Hey, come on.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I didn't have to use my girl's song. I got my own song, y'all. I got somebody wrote my own song. So listen, I'm excited about that. It is that time again, ladies and gentlemen. We are here. We are back with another great episode. And today I have a young man for you. This is going to be so powerful because this is something that is near and dear to a lot of people. I have a dear friend, and we all know him. We call him Beefy. Let me give you a sneak peek of who I'm talking about here. If you know this face right here, this young man is from the Raleigh area, a Raleigh native, and we call him Beefy. I'm going to bring him to the room. Mr. Julius Dillard. Beefy, are you with me?
What's up, babe? How you doing?
I'm doing just amazing. Listen, I just want to thank you for giving me the time of day today. And I want to say welcome. How are you doing on this Thursday evening?
I'm doing fine, highly blessed. I just want to say thank you for allowing the word to get out. You know, maybe somebody can get some, inspirational words or some words of wisdom to move forward in life, after the topic in which we've chose to talk about today.
That's right. You know what it is? It's story time, y'all. Story time is where human beings connect through life experiences. So what we want you to do is, if you're looking at this live or if you come back later, be sure to like, share, and comment because it's going down today. And afterward, even if you do the replay, we're going to want you to share this with some friends because you may know somebody who's going to need to hear what we have to say. So right now we have Mr. Julius Dillard, aka Beefy, in the building right now. Beefy, some people may not know who the heck you are. So do me a favor. I always like to start with the background. Tell us a little bit about who was that little guy Beefy that was from Raleigh, North Carolina. Tell us about the little boy, Beefy.
I was born and raised in Raleigh. Two great parents. Of course, I grew up in a single household, but my mom was an excellent parent. My dad was a parent from a distance, so I knew my parents. I had much love in the family. Very educated. I come from an athletic family. My brother, myself, my sister, and growing up in the 70s, we all was a community. So everybody around me, that's what we did. We went out, we played basketball, we bowled, we golfed, we played, not golf, we played the, the putt-putt, tennis. Whatever. We all was a community. So I grew up, loved. But sometimes growing up, you want your own path. So I started making my own decisions, and sometimes you think you can outsmart the grown folks that's telling you what to do, and it put me in a situation that I don't regret because it made me the man I am today. Wow. But I'm one that can't blame it on my childhood, even though I grew up in the projects. Started out at Halifax Court in Raleigh. We moved to Worthdale. My mom, she moved around a little bit because she did the best she could. And with four kids and a single parent, you do the best you can.
That's it.
And the love was there. We appreciated everything she done because we didn't know the struggle. All we knew is that we had everything we needed. And so I gravitated toward the place I like to claim is growing up, even though I wasn't living there, which is Lane Street. Lane Street is my claim to fame, is where I became a man, is where I learned how to conquer the streets, as well as grow up and know people and see things and understand things. And you take that educational side and you take that street side and you develop somewhat of a decent man in the long run, regardless of what you go through.
So let me ask you this. I heard you say your dad was not close by. And a lot of times people think that a single mom has a hard time raising young men. Do you think it would have been different if he would have been closer by?
I absolutely think it would have been different. My mom did the best she could, but there's some things she can't show me as a man. You know, she can tell me, but she can't show me. You know, she can't show me how to open the door for herself. She can't show me how to pull her chair out. You know, she can't, well, I can't say she can't show me, but she can't demonstrate those things like my father could. For me to see a man doing these things is a different side of manhood that you learn as you grow up as a boy. And you see it, you know, and you obtain habits. And I'm somewhat of a creature of habit. So, you know, those things that I learned over the years are the things that I like to do. And
Yes.
so, you know, learning those things from my uncle secondhand or from my brother or someone like that was not like having my dad there. You know,
That's
my
right.
hero, not my hero, you know, it's not like having him there. So, you know, that's the difference. You know, that's the difference right there.
Now, if that phone start ringing, you may have to put that joke on Do Not Disturb, boy. Them people
Yeah,
start
that's what I'm
calling
about to
me.
do. I'm
They
about to put
start
that on Do Not
calling.
Disturb
Get
because
on
they
here.
act like they can't. Let me do that right quick because they act like they
Yes.
don't. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So, you know, a young man, did you have older sisters and brothers also?
absolutely. I had. You know what's funny, Crystal? Other than what Mom told me, I really didn't know how many sisters I had because we was all a big family. My aunts was around, everybody, you know, we was all a big family. So everybody was my sister. Everybody was my brother. You know, we was one big household, one big community. You know, Miss Smith
Yes.
was the first person I thought was my grandmother. She was my babysitter. You know, so
Wow.
you don't really look at it like that. The love was there. You know, there's no excuse to say, hey, because of this is how I am. And even if that is an excuse, how long are you going to let it be an excuse? You're 30 years
And
old talking about what your dad didn't do. I
whew,
mean, you're 30 now,
yeah,
you
and
know?
guess what, Beefy? Today, it's really sad because today the community is not like that. Today, people don't know their neighbors. People can't talk to their neighbors. You know,
I'm
when
going to
we
have
were
to
coming up,
put that, sir. Give me a
when we
second.
were coming up, individuals would literally listen to their neighbors. If your mom wasn't home, the neighbors checked you. But
Right.
today, you can't do that because people they don't even know who their neighbors are. Better yet, check them. And if they do say something to the neighbor's child, oh my goodness, it's a different world. So
Yeah.
it's definitely a blessing to come from that day and age where everybody was truly raising one another. And like they said, it took a village, you know.
Right. And we're so right now, in my opinion, you know, these kids are so media raised. You know, everything from the media now. If this is how you should be, this is how, you know, this is what you should do. And if they want you to do something and lead you a certain way, then they just use, you know, the head of the snake to be the one who demonstrates it, and then everybody's going to follow. You know, I've always been the one to believe that, you know, the world is broke up amongst people. You have leaders, you have followers, and then you got those that figure it out. You know, and
Mhm.
usually the ones that figure it out, once you have that political power, the Martin Luther Kings, the Malcolm X's, you know, the W.E. Du Bois, and all of these people, once you figure it out, then it's time to get rid of you.
So now
Because
let
you
me
can
ask you
really
this. When
start
you were
stuff.
in school, like in middle school, high school, was you a leader or a follower? Which one were you?
I've always had my own, I don't want to say I was a leader because I love Dr. King. Little known Black history note about myself. I was Mr. Black Teenage World of North Carolina. And
Okay.
so what that was is it was back in the day, these are the things that they involved us in. You know, today, then they say, oh, he must be living an alternative lifestyle. This, that. No, I'm very much a man. But this helped me to develop into the young man that I was. It was those people in the community. We did creative expression, which I was a question mark. We did talent, which I did Martin Luther King's speech. We did evening wear. We did sportswear. It was a full-blown pageant. And I won for the state of North Carolina, and I was sent to Texas, where I became second runner-up. That helped me believe in myself, to
Wow.
know that I could do the things that I set forth to do. The question was, at the time, I think it was 84, 85. How do we feel about the first Black president, Jesse Jackson? That was a question that, you know, they ask you a question when you come up on stage in most pageants. But it
Yes.
was, you know, pageants are for girls. But
Yes.
this was for girls and guys, right over here at Meredith College in Raleigh. And
Yes.
so I started believing in myself and started knowing that I could do things. And you know, part of my background, it might have been a curse, but I like to say I was a leader. I like to say I was a leader and one of those who figured it out early.
Wow. So now what part of that background do you think was the curse?
The leadership. Knowing that you could have those, followers lead behind you, which led me to, know that I could do the things that I did once I gravitated toward the streets,
So let me ask you this. So you wind up making some decisions that allowed you to wind up doing some hard time. But before you got to that point and you did that long bid that you have, did you go to jail? Was you like in and out of jail?
Well, I went to jail, but I never went to jail. I would go to jail, but I would never stay there. You know what I mean? Because it would be, it would be bogus. Oh, we saw you driving. But it was just to run up on me to try to catch me the way that they really wanted me to catch me, And me, thinking I knew everything, thought I had it figured out, knew nothing about conspiracy, knew nothing about, people hiding around your house and peeping and, becoming one of top 5 that they want out of the city and this, that, and other. You never think about those things because you're having fun.
Yeah.
I was having fun. I wasn't, first of all, in my opinion, you have hustlers, you have opportunists, and then, you got dealers. I characterize myself as an opportunist. I was placed in a position and given an opportunity to make a lot of money. And I'm looking out in the pasture and I'm seeing these people who are making the money and saying to myself, if this guy can do it, but what I lacked was that in which we hope to do today, that OG guidance to say, nah, take that same energy and put it towards something that's legal.
That's right.
To the sense of
that's
allowing you to prosper, and do the things that you need to do. And that's how you come up with some of the guys that we know around town, the Montes, the Lavelles, that's how you come up with these people. They took that energy and put it towards something that society deems necessary and legal. So why do I characterize it like that? Because I wasn't the type of dude to run around and, I'm gonna kill you if you're on my block. This and that. No, we wanted to make sure the community was good. Nobody lights us off. Nobody needed shoes for school. Nobody needed a book bag. Nobody, all these book bag giveaways and stuff. This is what we did. We didn't give away. So Miss Smith and Miss Claudine and Miss Etta Mae, they wasn't scared of us because they knew that we protected the neighborhood and we didn't allow anyone to penetrate our neighborhood. And as crazy as it may sound, we didn't see wrong with helping people do what they're going to do anyway.
Right. And you said something powerful. You said, learn from the skills and take it and become an entrepreneur. And so many people that have been from the street have done that, but there's a lot who haven't. So let me ask you something. Take me back to 1995. What happened in 1995?
1995, I was arrested by the federal government. And
did you see it coming? Was you the man? Was you at the top of your game? Was that like you had
actually, the game was over. It was time to spend the earnings.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So you thought you was out of the clear. You thought you was in the clear then.
I'm not doing it no more.
That's right.
But the only way for me to enjoy myself is to be around those who can spend like I spend, do like I do, and they might have still been in the game. So it makes it look as though you're still doing the same thing.
That's right.
And a lot of people today, when they come home from prison or they come home from these, these situations or jail or whatever, and they get right back with their homeboy, yeah, that's your man, but your man ain't stopped. So even though you haven't stopped, it makes it look like you're doing the same thing. So you're going to get the same wrath. So anyway, 95, they snatched me up. I was known Raleigh 5. There was 5 of us. They wanted to get off the street. I won't mention anybody else's name. And I was one of them. So I was picked up. To me, it was just another normal day. You know, they picking me up again. Here we go. Let me pay this bail and go home. Unfortunately, it didn't happen like that. You know, the state has a way of getting tired of you, and they just pass it over to the Fed. Listen, ain't nothing we could do to them. How about you take this right here? Because all we can do is give them 6 months. You know, but over here we got him prepared for you to lay him down for however long you want to lay him down, because we gave him these petty charges. See, a lot of times, what we don't know is that those charges, I'll say to myself, they charged me with possession of a firearm by a felon, right? The felony was, at the time, an ounce a week. That was a felony back then, right? So now you got this felony. So now, doing the conspiracy, while you're standing around up there on your block, okay, we're going to charge you with this because we think you, whether you get convicted of it or not, you was charged with it. So now once you roll over to the feds, all they need is 3 occasions of the same type of crime on 3 different occasions to enhance you as a career criminal. Doesn't matter how old you were, you know, because I was 17, 18 at the time. You know, my mom thought I was away playing basketball at college. I'm sneaking up on the block every day.
Wow.
You know, every day. I was supposed to be in Concord, North Carolina, Bobby Scotia, playing basketball. I'm on Lane Street, you know. So, you know, it's yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. And then so once the feds get a hold of you.
When did the light bulb go off for you to say, oh, hell, this is different. They got me. I'm not going home this time.
I now sentence you to 220 months in the federal penitentiary of the United States of America. And I'm standing there like, wait a minute, it ain't but 12 months in a year. What the hell did I do? Did y'all find a body or something with me? I mean, come on, man. I'm looking at my lawyer like, listen, I paid you 60 grand for this. We gotta figure something out, you know, because it's the game they play.
So you hear those words come out of the judge's mouth. I now sentence you to 220 months. And you sit here going, there's 12 months. What? You
don't even think about it till you get back to where you're going. You get back to your holding cell and you're sitting there and somebody be like, yo, what'd he do? Man, he gave me 220 months. Good God, that's 20 years. Then it kicks in. You're like, oh my God, 20 years. And I gotta, they talking about the world's gonna end in 2000. Everything's gonna go out. You remember that? Everything's gonna go out in 2000. You know, so you sitting there like, wow, you know, I'm not going home, you know, but there come a time.
The first person that you called, because your mom was there probably, right? Your mom was there for the sentencing, I'm sure.
Yeah, my mom was there, unfortunately.
So
I couldn't stop it from coming.
Did you turn around and look at your mom when they gave you that sentence?
Nah, too shame. You can't. I know she didn't raise me like that. You know what I mean? So what do you do when you know you're wrong? Put your head down.
Wow.
You know, you put your head down, you know. Wow. But what I did know is that I had to man up. And my father always told me, he said, listen, boy, I don't know who you think you're fooling, but your time gonna come. And when it do, man up. Do what you gotta do.
So that day comes, they take you there, they go through that whole routine. You know, people watch it on TV, they see it where they strip you down, that whole thing. What was that like? That first time when you go through and you walking through them halls and you see and you hear the gates and you see everything, what was going through your mind then?
Well, my first stop was Atlanta Penitentiary. And I don't know if anybody ever been in Atlanta Penitentiary, but when you pull up to it, it's all what you want to see as far as being a penitentiary. So you're sitting there and you don't have time to worry about what's happened anymore. You have to toughen up. Ain't no crying. You better, you know, and that's the misconception. A lot of these guys out here now, they think they're gonna go in there, they're gonna have fun. No, it's not fun. It's not fun at all. And I always had a good hand game. So I ain't worried about that part, you know, but I'm in unfamiliar territory. See, this is their home. Yeah. This is their home, and this is somewhere I'm going to. Yes. You know, doesn't matter. The 1-800 crew, my boys, Snoop, Still, all them, our 1-800 boys. Shout out to everybody, and rest in peace to my man Still and Big Al. You know, they're not around anymore, but these were my hearts. These were the guys who were there for me. Daryl, they were there for me. You know, and now I don't have that protection. They ain't got them Jones in their pocket, and standing around and got my back and all that's gone. You on your own. You got to stand on your own 2 feet. And that's when I realized what Daddy was talking about when he said, man up. It's that time. You on your own, And Atlanta Penitentiary at the time was notorious because they had a lot of the Cuban refugees there. And they just had them as political prisoners, when Castro had sent them all over. So I stayed there and processed, and they shipped me out to another prison. And fortunately, after like about a year and a half, I ended up at Butner. They opened up Butner.
So you felt a little better because you were closer to home.
I felt a little better because I was closer to home, but that was the worst part of my bid, because those who you think should be there because of the things that you did, the tuitions, the cars, the houses, hey man, my car, man, I don't know what's wrong with my car. What kind of car? The Ford? Take it to Ford and let them fix it. Don't worry about it. Man, I tell you, take it to Ford, And so you're sitting up there at Butner and Saturday and Sunday come by and you're looking for these people to come see you and they
nobody there.
Nobody's there. Out of sight, out of mind. They talking to you on the phone. Hey man, what's up, man? Love you. But that was a problem for me because my phone time was for my kids, because that's not a place I wanted them to come and see me. So they can hear me though. They can know that daddy understands and loves them. So I had to save that time. You only get 300 minutes at the time. So I had a rule, 250 for my family and 50 for those, around me.
Yes, yes.
And
so
and
through all of this, there had to be a communication with the children. How many children do you have?
7.
7 children. So did you keep, because you've been married before. You were married about
Absolutely.
25 years. The first time you remarried, but you were originally married 25. So while you were married, you kept communication with the family. And I know there may be some people out here, they don't get those collect calls where people accept those calls. You know what I mean? That's a hurting feeling. You don't have nobody that's going to accept that call. So I can imagine those people who didn't get the visits, they didn't get the calls, they didn't have anybody writing to them or anybody encouraging them. My goodness, that's got to be rough. I mean, that's got to be real rough. I'm sure you've seen some sad cases in there.
Well, I didn't have to see it. I felt it, especially thinking you are who you are. It humbles you quickly, and basically, how I got through it. I never forget it. It was 1998. I got some mail and it was, of course, how moms are, it was a Bible. And inside the Bible, my mother wrote it to me and she said, this is my gift. If you read this, you'll be okay. That's what she told me. So I'm in there, but my mindset is survival. Like I got to put a name for myself to let these dudes know, this ain't where you want to come. This ain't the angle you want to come. So going in with that type of status, you become, one of the guys that people kind of, gravitate to, and that leadership, and that's when my mind started to change. Someone saw me playing basketball, a guy by the name of Kent Martin. And he was an employee there. And to this day, I call him Pops. I check on him. I make sure everything is good. And he gave me a job. He gave me a job in the accounting office because, of my degree in business.
Inside the prison.
Inside the prison. So he was like, what were you doing? I said, well, I was in college. I got my associates and I'm working on my bachelor's. I said, I got, 2 or 3 more classes. Shaw University's here in the prison. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to go ahead and get my bachelor's degree. He said, well, come down and work for me. So I ended up working for him for 14 years.
Wow.
Right? And the thing about it is a lot of the misconception with these guys out here in the streets. And, when I talk to gang, members and even gang leaders, right here in my city, you ain't going to school. You're going to go to school in there. Mm-hmm. You ain't working. You're going to work in there. You think you're going to sleep all day and play games? It don't work like that because the building got to be clean. The kitchen's got to be worked. Wrecks got to be worked. Everything's ran by inmates. So there's plenty of jobs. There's overabundance of jobs. I've been on the rec yard and there'd be 50 people out there working and they're paying them all $5 a month. So you're going to get up, but for me, it waking up for 14 years, being at work at 7 o'clock and getting off at 7 in the evening gave me a new ethic, a new work ethic. It prepared me for what I was against because I didn't have a life sentence. And I knew that one day,
And so you were going to work, you were being on time, you were taking advantage. So you embraced this job, you took it on, and you just made sure you got all the skills you needed to, and you made a name for yourself there as an employee.
Absolutely.
Wow,
Absolutely.
That's amazing. That's amazing. 14 years in the same position. That's amazing.
There was a point where I had as a matter of fact, in 9/11, when the planes ran into the building, I was listening to the Russ Parr morning show and watching it at my desk.
Wow.
In my office.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? At the prison. I had 3 factories that I kept up with. And the budget for those factories were a little bit over $4 million. And I didn't pay the bills, but I parked the bills. Right. I was responsible for making sure that the bills were paid for and making sure the escrow accounts estimates were the way they were supposed to be, so forth and so on. But so I was learning skills.
Yeah.
And I had to humble myself in order to do that because, you get in trouble, you go to the hole, you do these things, those things are jeopardized. So you have to, walk away. You have to, look at things differently. And I think that's what started my transition toward, being who I am today.
So how many times did it take you to go to the hole to get, did you bump your head a couple of times, like having attitudes with the guards and all that before you got to that point, Beefy?
It's not even that. The guard might come in and have an attitude with you. Some were jealous. Some were jealous. But once a person learns who you are, it's hard to convince them that you're not that person. So those around me who knew my character and knew the things that I was there to do and the positive things, the classes I was starting, Father Behind Bars, Unicore training, how to read your case, how to contact your lawyer, these type of things. These are things that I got a group of guys to do outside of basketball and football. And we started a class called Father Behind Bars, where we convinced the warden to allow us to have 15 guys. We embraced them. We promised that they wouldn't get in no trouble. They wouldn't, no write-ups, no none of this. And we talked about family things. We talked about different things with the kids. Sometimes relationships would come up, but this ain't what this is about. This is about you and your kids. And we had it where the parents would come up on one day and drop the kids off all day. And you help them with their homework, and you had lunch with them, and we had speakers. And these guys were rewarded with 50 extra minutes of talk time to allow them to speak to their kids and talk to their kids, and maybe help them with a homework problem. Because 300 minutes is not designed to allow you to help your kid with a homework problem every day. Kids go to school every day, and you're on the phone with them and you're helping them and you're talking to them. And yeah, true, some people, but you still wasn't there. No, I wasn't there physically. But all of my kids adore me. My biggest problem wasn't when I was there. My biggest problem was when I came home because of their expectations.
Wow. So, Beefy, when you today, when people get sentenced, a lot of times they get sentenced. There was a time you would get a sentence, but you wouldn't do the time. You would do a part of the time. But when people get sentenced today, they doing the time. They doing all the time. It's not like you getting, good behavior off for good behavior or nothing like that, right?
Yeah, well, the feds did away with parole. I want to say 89, 90, somewhere in there. So there's no parole. They came up with the 85%, which is really 87.5% that you're going to do. And you're just going to do your time. You're going to do, and honestly, Crystal, it's the biggest waste of time. You have to do the time and don't let the time do you, because it's promoted.
Time do you.
It's
now,
promoted.
Let's talk about that for a minute, because there's a whole lot of guys who don't know how to do that. What does that mean?
What that means is you have to take that time and understand your journey is beyond where you are. Free your mind, your body is there, but your journey is beyond those gates. And in order to, establish what it is that you have, that you want to do, whatever your craft may be, you have to set short-term goals. And those short-term goals will give you the confidence, the arrogance, the willpower, because you're accomplishing something. You're starting to believe in yourself, and once you believe in yourself and learn yourself, then the sky's the limit. You're smart. Look at what you was doing.
Right.
Look at what you was doing. Look at what you had. It's pretty much, and not jumping too far ahead. I look at the streets and I look at what I do for a living, and without mentioning the company's name, because you still got those haters. I have people who work for me. Those people who are the same people who were working for me on the street.
Wow, and you got them a job.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when you get to a certain, you don't have to be to the top to reach back down and give somebody a hand.
That's it. Well, let's talk about that. So you did 16, is it 16 years?
16-8.
16 years, 8 months?
Yep.
You can remember that day. Well, you ain't letting go of that 8 months, boy.
It's mine.
Give you that 8 months. They give me mine. I did 16 years, 8 months. You know how many hours it was before you
ain't no need to give me $10 an hour and pay me 8. I need all my time.
So can you remember that day when it was like that last year? Are you counting down every month, every week? Do you have a little check off on the dates on the wall? Are you really conscious about, oh my God, are you trying to stay out of trouble? Because I understand sometimes it gets to be a challenge because you got haters. And as you get closer to that time, they know you're going to leave. Sometimes they try to set you up. Is that true?
Well, that's how you expose yourself. It's very true. And it'll be the one that's closest to you. You can't be in there and not talk to nobody. You're going to have people that you hey, how you doing? You could be social, but you came by yourself. You know what I'm saying? That there's no friends. Like I met some great guys there. We developed great relationships, including my so-called best. I won't say so-called. He is my best friend, but I'm saying so-called because that's how we label it. But I got 15 best friends, that I know, got my back. So that's what I mean by so-called. But there's some good people there. There's great people there. There's great building there. There's with that being said, you have to. I remember the first day I got there, because I just described it to you when we pulled up to Atlanta Penitentiary. And I remember the last day leaving. Most of the stuff in between was a blur. All I know is that I didn't compromise myself, my manhood, or my integrity. You know
was
what I'm saying?
Was that a challenge? Was that hard?
No, because you have to. It's not hard once you learn yourself. If you, is it hard for you not to drink Drano? Drano is poison. So, if you drink it, you're going to die. So you learn things, I know if I go over here and indulge in, activity with these dudes, then I'm going to be characterized as one of them. And that's not how I'm known. So, it all depends on how you want to carry it. But you have to be focused and you have to be careful. You have to be focused. You have to be careful. And a lot of people, a lot of these guys, when I talk to them out here in the streets now, I tell them, you ain't ready for that, man. You think you are. You ain't ready for that. I mean, hell, the dude jumped on Mike Tyson, knowing he was the former heavyweight champion of the world, but he still wanted to triumph. You see, so nobody's scared of you. None of that you was doing on the street makes a difference in there, unless your money's long and you can just take care of dudes and they're just going to stay out of your way because you're taking care of them. You buying them commissary, you're doing this, you're doing that. And that's how it goes, and they sit out here and they sit behind these desks and they try to, tell you how it is and tell you what, but you can't unless you experience it. You're not an expert at that. You're a college graduate. You're not an expert at being behind the wall. You don't know what going on when the lights go out. You don't know what going on when it's 15 of y'all against 300. So you can't say, you know, what will happen or what's going to go on, you know. And a lot of these kids are just they're just misled. That's all.
Yeah.
Just misled.
So Beefy, let me ask you this: what is the most valuable lesson you learned during that time?
Myself. I learned myself. I learned who I was. I learned what makes me happy. I learned what makes me sad. I learned what makes me cry. I learned what makes me mad. You know, I learned how to be dependable. You know, I learned the importance of being a father. You know, most importantly, I learned my spiritual side. You know, I learned how to not worry about what others say. You know, they're going to talk about you. Doors are going to be closed in your face. People are going to slam doors in your face. I had a woman tell me one time I went for a job. They hired me and then they sent me over to the place to do my paperwork. And the lady in HR was like, hold on for a minute. You a fella? I said, yeah. So why would we hire you? All these people out here need jobs. I think we should get them a job first. And I didn't get the job. But had I not known myself and I had not built up that positive energy, then I'd have been done. I'd have went back to what I'm used to in the street, you know. But I took my tail on over to Mike Dot, you know, shout out to Men at Work, you know, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
and
what he
you know,
does,
one thing about this guy that makes me love him, even though I don't see him every day and I don't talk to him every day, he gives you an opportunity. See, it's either work for him. It's either work for him or sit down at the halfway house and try to find a job. So what happened is I started working for him, and my work ethics was seen by somebody outside of him, and he let me go. Yeah. To that person, and then that person called me in his office after about 2 years, and he said, "Man, I'm holding you back. I'm gonna pay you for 4 months, but I want you to go out there and find a job. I can't keep you there. I'm doing you a misjustice. Right. I'd love to keep you because you're doing a great thing, but in my head, one side of me was like, this is an excuse. He's using an excuse, you know, that want to get at him, you know, and then the other side was like, maybe he's telling the truth. Maybe he sees something in you. Maybe you need to pursue what you said you're going to do."
Now, I want to piggyback off of what you said, and I'm going to get Mike Dot on here. I've been telling him I want to interview him. What Men at Work does is amazing because he just hires people coming out and gives them that chance, and he sticks by them, and he allowed them, as long as they apply themselves, they don't have no excuse because Mike definitely gives them a shot. And Beefy, what I heard you say about your mindset. So a lot of people, if there's somebody watching this now, because I have a lot of people who watch me from the prison. If there's somebody watching this now that's doing time, and I have one brother that he has a life sentence. I have a couple of them. They have some long years. What would you say to them to encourage them while they're still in there doing their time?
If they let me go tomorrow, am I ready? And if you're not, prepare yourself. If they let me go tomorrow, am I ready? If you occupy your mind with that mindset, the days will fly because you're going to always do things to prepare yourself. Prepare yourself, because who knows what society is going to be in 20 years? Who knows what society is going to be in 15 years? But I know I'm prepared because I'm keeping up and I'm doing little things. And if I'm not doing anything but gathering the work ethics, getting up every morning, going to work, being on time, doing my job, showing pride in what I do, dress neat, you know, shirt iron, pants iron. When I go in the evening, I'm getting myself together. I'm making sure that I'm ready for work tomorrow. By then, it's time to take a shower and lay down, you know, and the days will start going because one day they're going to call your name. You know, you might have life now, but laws change. You know, there's dudes in there that had life for marijuana, and that's legal in some states. They home. You know, cases overturned, different laws, crack laws. You never know. So you have to be prepared. Chance favors the well prepared. If you're well prepared, then you stand a good chance. If you're not well prepared, you know, the recidivism rate is high for that reason. Because what they're going to do is they're going to put you at the halfway house. And I bring up Mike again. Mike paid me $175 a week. The halfway house needed 25% of that before taxes. And then there was those probation fees. So I walked away with about $70 a week. How can I prepare for society with $70 a week? But if you don't believe in yourself, then you're going to look down on yourself and you're going to start doing things that you shouldn't do. That's going to lead you right back into the system, which is where their money is at. Nobody wants you to succeed. Nobody, only person who wants you to succeed is you. You know, even some of those friends around you that you think want you to succeed, they don't want you to succeed. They don't want to see you. I got some people now that, you know, I come home and I do things and they're still stuck in the same place. And no, I don't think I'm nothing. I know I am.
Wow.
Because I work for this and I earned this. And I can tell you how to do it if you're willing to sacrifice. You know?
So you said for the people that come back and watch this that are doing time, they need to ask themselves, if they let me go tomorrow, am I ready? And
am I ready?
The answer is no. If they are true to themselves, if they are honest with themselves and they say, I'm not ready, then what would you tell them to go do? Read books? Or what would you tell them to do?
You have to prepare yourself. You have to. I can honestly say my first 6 years, I wasn't ready. They let me out, I probably would have went back. I would have looked at them as a joke, you know. But once you start laying down and you start realizing, damn, I can't go home. I'm going to be here. You know what I'm saying? But when I do go home, what am I going to do? So you start watching the news and you start, you know, looking at things and you start, you know, I don't look at stock because that's not my thing, you know, stocks and bonds. And, you know, you got some people sit there and stare at that. I ain't got time for that, you know, because I'm going out here in society and I know that I don't have the money to buy stocks and bonds. You know what I'm saying? I do now, but I didn't then, you know, so I got to come out here and I got to prepare myself mentally and physically to do what needs to be done to get where I need to be. And I'm going to set short-term goals. For example, they took my driver's license from me in 1989, right? I had 47 driving with no license pending, right? In which they dismissed. Okay, so these things are not something that they're just going to dismiss once you get in with the feds. So I took time to get in touch with them. When I came home, I went to go see a certain magistrate who's a judge now. And I asked for his time. He gave me his time. He said, well, why should I give you your driver's license? I said, well, for one, I need to work. You know. Two, I don't want to go back to what I was doing. And if I can't drive and I can't make money to feed my family, what do you think I'm going to do? You know? So I'm asking for your help and allow me to show you that I'm a different person now. He said, well, you mentioned show me, and this is a true story. I can't make this up. What did you do while you was there? I said, I'll be right back. I went to the car. I came back with a folder about this thing. Every program, every degree, every, You know what he did? He hand wrote each. He wrote failure to appear on each one of them. And he gave it to me, told me to go to DMV.
Wow. When
I got to DMV, it still was a challenge because they wanted to know, well, why wasn't you doing what you're supposed to do when you had your license, this, that, and the other? Well, I had no respect for the law. You know what I'm saying? I didn't, but I do now. And this is what I mean. And so to make a long story short, they put me on a 3-year, get a ticket, anything, we taking your license. I drove around like Miss Daisy every day. I did what I had to do. You understand what I'm saying? Because I needed my license, and I knew without my license. So from when I crossed that bridge, which is why sometimes it's somewhat emotional. When I crossed that bridge right there, and I knew that I could get where I needed to be when I needed to be there, it was over. You know, that light went off, and that's all guys need is for that light to go off. Once that light go off, man, you good.
And you did it by yourself. You did it. You didn't need nobody standing there by your side holding your hand. You didn't have.
No, I ain't gonna say I didn't need nobody, because one of the I don't want to put that out there like that, because one of the biggest curses of man is pride. I think the biggest curse to man is pride, and sometimes you just got to sit your pride aside, and you have to accept those handouts and accept those things that people say that they'll do for you. And you learn from that, and you take those pieces and you put the puzzle together and become who you want to be. You know, I have a thing now. You know, in my current relationship, when I met her, I didn't tell her about me.
You didn't tell her about your past?
No.
So I'm glad you brought that up, because I was going to ask you about that. How important is that? Because a lot of people will leave somebody if they don't give them
only because I love my sisters, and society has sisters thinking that because a man made a mistake, a black man made a mistake, he's no good. So I want you to know me, and I want you to experience some of those things that my dad did, you know, talk to me about, and my uncle showed me, and my brothers showed me, opening the door for you, you know, being there for you, accepting you for who you are, listening, talking. You know, people always say, you know, why would a girl go up to the prison and see him and sit there? Well, when the last time your man sat down and listened to your problems for 8 hours? You probably don't get 8 hours a week. And here's a guy that's just sitting there, just listening to you and telling you how beautiful you are. And some of them full of it, you know it is. But there's some guys who are looking for that partner,
right?
Looking for that reason, to be the man that he know he can be. So, you know,
so on that note, I don't want you to lose your thought, but on that note, I have to go back to that, but I'm gonna let you finish. You're talking about why you didn't tell your woman that you were a convicted felon. And there's a difference. Some people don't know the difference between being a felon and a convicted felon.
Right.
And you did not want her to know, because you wanted her to get to know you for who you was. And did it work?
It worked. But before there was any type of you know, sexual contact or anything like that, let's sit down, let's talk for a minute. Let me holler at you. Let me tell you what you're dealing with. You know, because your struggle is going to become part of hers. And if you're not open and honest with her about your struggle, then she's not going to support you, because she's going to feel like she was tricked into something that she didn't sign up for. You know, so there's going to be people who don't want to see you where you are. There's going to be people who are going to whisper and talk. There's going to be people who bring up things about his past. But I'm not a rapist. I'm not a murderer. I'm not a child molester. I'm none of these things. I am a strong black man who's out here making irrational decisions. I got caught up, but that's not me anymore. You understand? And you know it's not me, because you've been around me for the last 3 weeks. And you see the guy I am. You've seen my kids around me. You've seen the love I have for my mother. You've seen the love my mother have for me. You've seen the respect that my friends have for me. You were seeing the respect that you know, that my kids and my brothers and you know, that they have for me. You've seen my habits. You've seen the things I do. So you don't have to worry about what I did, because I'm not worried about what you did. I'm worried about where we're going. You know, what we're gonna do. You know. And
so 3 weeks, that's how long you took? 3 weeks?
It took me about that, yeah. It took about 3 weeks to a month, because it's like you showing me your daughter day 2. You know, you're not going to bring me to your house. I'm not going to spill my business to you and I don't even know who you are. Are you worthy of knowing my business? You know, because you may be the one to stop me from doing what I need to do. As far as, you know, somebody's going to believe in you. If you have good traits, somebody's going to believe in you. I don't care what you did, who you are, somebody's going to believe in you. And somebody's going to give you that opportunity, you know? Wow. And one of the things that I tell people, you know, we walk around as a you know, as a culture, and we you know, the Lord this and God this, and I'm going to pray for this and I'm going to pray for that. But are you listening? When you pray, are you listening to the answer when you pray? Because it may not come back to you. It may come through somebody else. It may present itself to you. Are you acting on it? Are you exercising that faith? You know, because, you know, you're only making yourself believe that you can do it. So you might as well do it. Is there a higher power? Absolutely, there's a higher power. I can tell you there is.
Yeah.
I know there is. But if you don't act upon it and you don't listen to those things that are being whispered to you or being said to you, somebody just walk up to you and tell you about something that you've been thinking about doing 20 years ago. How do they know? That's your answers. Act upon it. You know, some people, they just, you know, I don't have the money. You come up with all these excuses, but you got the money to go get these Jordans and do this and do that. You got to sacrifice. You know, it takes a sacrifice. You know, it takes a sacrifice. And that's how our kids, in my opinion, today are getting caught up. There's no opportunity. You know, I talked to some higher officials, I'll just say that, for the city of Raleigh. And they was like, well, what is your opinion on, how can we stop this? Opportunity. When I
Give
grew up,
them
we
the
had CEDA.
opportunity. Take a
Yeah.
chance.
When I grew up,
Take a
we had
chance.
CEDA. We had CEDA program. Every summer, every individual wanted to work for CEDA. They wanted that $4.25. The day you got out of school, it was a line around the corner. Everybody filling out applications to work for the city. And what we did is we worked for the city all summer. And we made a little bit of money. It was a job. It was opportunity to be able to have the things that your mom and dad couldn't get for you. So people were getting cars and people were getting shoes. Right. Everybody had work. It was what was happening. There's no opportunities here now.
No more. They took them away. So people, let me ask you, that folder that you took in there to that judge, what are some of the things that you accomplished while you were in there? Did you get your master's while you were inside?
Well, here's what I did, because it's funny to me. I took advantage of every college class they offered. So even after I got my bachelor's, when they offered classes, I would just take them. They were free. Why wouldn't you? You know what I'm saying? And I used to look around and it'd be 10 or 15 of us in there on a 3,000 inmates. And it's only 5 people here getting this free education. But you got 400 people down on the basketball court watching the game because it's supposed to be the championship game. The hell with that game, because I'm not going to the NBA. It's a great pastime. I played on the varsity team and all of that. But when it came to my schoolwork and it came to the things that I needed, the tools that I needed to build my house when I get home, I got to go do that. You see what I'm saying? I got to go do that.
Trades, all kind of stuff.
Small engine, small refrigerator repair, lawnmower services. I'm all over the place. I'm taking everything, business administration classes, accounting classes, psychology classes, whatever kind of class you had, I'm taking it. And I'm going to get this certificate.
That helps when you come out, because when you come across a judge or you come across somebody and they say, what have you been doing? This shows them that you have some kind of discipline and that you're focused. Correct?
Absolutely. I prepared myself best, because although the prison system offer all of these things, it's taught by inmates.
Really?
Yeah, it's taught by inmates. Really? The counselor's gonna lie. Okay, let's put it like this. Who you think gonna teach music at Butner?
Wow.
Why not Robert Kelly?
Wow.
Who knows music better than him? You know what I'm saying? Regardless of, he's there now. So who do you think they're gonna have teach music at who do you think they're gonna have teach financial? Bernie Madoff. Who else will teach it? You know what I'm saying? They're just gonna make sure that he's teaching you the way before he found the crooked way. You see what I'm saying? That's all they're gonna do. So the inmates are in there teaching you these classes.
I have stayed on this topic because it's a topic that needs to be discussed. There's so many people that watch and they're gonna need to hear this. So I thank you for sharing. I'm gonna move off this topic. There's something else for a little bit more of your time, but I just want to ask you one more thing. Anything I didn't ask you that you want to share that you feel as though a family member, a spouse, a child, or anyone should know about their loved one that's doing time?
Let me say this one more thing and then I'll answer that question. Hold that thought. I want to say to these guys that's coming home, as selfish as it may sound, you can't do anything for anybody else until you get yourself together. I understand you got kids. I understand you've been gone. I understand, but you ain't got nothing. Even if you got some money, you still don't have nothing. You don't have anything, because there's things that you're going to have to do. You're going to have to be here at this time. You're going to have to go here at this time. So you can't make promises on what you can do with kids, and it's going to cause problems. Imagine trying to spread myself at the time, because my youngest son is only 7, 6 ways. Everybody expectations. And I got 4 girls. So, they wanted daddy. You see what I'm saying? They wanted daddy. You know what I mean? And I had to be selfish. And I knew it would upset them. But I knew in the long run, they would understand why. because I'm no good to you until I better me. You see what I'm saying? So let me get me together. And once I get me together, then I can do the things that you want me to do. And so you have to stay focused amongst yourself. Now, as far as the family members and friends, believe in them until they give you a reason not to believe in them. You know, never, doubt them or tell them what they're going to do or what they're going to be, or just give them opportunity, especially if they're coming home and they're trying to make it. You got to give them that opportunity. You got to give them that love. You got to give them that chance, or stay out of their way. Just leave them alone. Nobody needs that negativity. It's negative enough out here. So if you can't help them, leave them alone. That's the best advice I can get a family member.
If you don't have nothing positive to say, don't say nothing at all. That's what I'm hearing.
And if you're not that person that can talk to that person when you see them doing something that they shouldn't be doing, I got people. I'll go back over to my neighbor. I was over there yesterday. I go over there to see my people. Hey, how y'all doing? What's going on? Well, hey, what's going on? So and so and so. And you still got people, believe it or not, that were there when I was there, that are still there today doing the same thing. But it's what makes the world go round. It's what makes the world.
And there's some that just don't get tired, huh, Beefy? There's some brothers, and I mean, there's some females, but there's some, they just get caught up in the cycle and they don't get tired. What do you say to the parents that's like, my God, the single mom?
It's a mentality. Be careful. Be careful what you learn. I mean, be careful what you're teaching them. I always say, one of the things that I'll say, right? Nephew, close those for me, please. One of the things that I always say is this. I remember 13 years old, I went over to Central Prison and I walked out of there and I wondered what they did all day. It's cool in there. They get to, what I'm saying? It's ironic that I ended up there, be careful what you teach the kids. You have to be careful because curiosity is worse than being deliberate, in my opinion, if that makes sense, Yeah. And that's kind of deep, but if people think about it, they'll understand what I mean. And so you just have to focus, man. You have to want something different. It's like anything else. It's an addiction. It's an addiction. The streets was an addiction. I'm a 19-year-old kid making $50,000 a week. I mean, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's an addiction. You start doing things. You start taking care of people.
Now that haven't gotten caught and they're making their money, what do you say to them?
I mean, how much is too much and when is enough? If you already made your money, what are you doing with it? That's an opportunity. It's not a hustler. You understand what I'm saying? That's an opportunity. That's not a hustler. A hustler is going to move on to bigger things and better things. Somebody's going to get in your ear. For me, it was my uncle. Look, man, you need to buy you some land. You need to get you some things. You just out here just buying these cars. That stuff ain't going to do nothing for you. When you come home from prison, what do you mean? Uncle ain't going to no prison. Oh, you going to prison. It comes with the territory, especially what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Right. They ain't gonna let that shit go on forever, man. You crazy? So it's all an illusion. I mean, by the time you pay your lawyers and they take what they're gonna take and all this, you right back at square one. It was fun while it lasted,
So I have a title up here that says, "Why being a felon is not final." And the reason why I have this is because you were fortunate. A lot of times people come out, they do the time like you did, and they can't get a career. They can't get a good job. They can't get that chance. They can't get anyone to believe in them. How did you do that, Beefy? How did you land the position you have now? You've been with your company for a certain amount of time. I'll let you tell the story, but how did you do that?
Believing in myself. And I started from the bottom. I started at the lowest position that they had. And again, work ethics. Someone saw it. Hey, you come out better doing this right here. So now I got a foot in the door. I know how to talk. I know how to look. I know how to listen. I know who's important and who's not important. Ain't no need of me talking to this dude over here who talking about going smoke some weed when this dude over here is talking about paying me $100,000 a year one day. Well, when is that one day, sir? So now me and him gonna get a joke, and I'm gonna call him one day. Every time I see him, hey, one day, to keep my head, to keep him watching me. So now when he in his office, he looking at my numbers. There's no doubt about it. He's looking at my numbers. How's he performing? Let's look at his work ethics. Let's look at how his supervisor wrote up what he's doing. What kind of attitude does he have? Is he on time? Does he come to work? How's he dressed? What does he look like? See, I always say, they cut them dreads out of your head. Well, Jay-Z got dreads, ain't nobody telling him to cut his. Why? Because he made it. Once he's there, you can do what you want to do, but you got to get there. You see what I'm saying? You got to get there. If you don't get there, then you can't do what you want to do. I'm still at an age, I can't do what I want to do, but I'm proud to say, and it's not a bragging thing. We look at things, sometimes we say, oh, he bragging. I'm not bragging. I'm six plus numbers, legal. I don't have to worry anymore. I don't have to worry about paying my bills. I don't have to worry. All I got to do is worry about getting up, going to work. And that's a good feeling. I don't have to worry about my daughter needing to go to college and how I'm going to pay for it. And what kind of car, or how, if I get a car, how I'm going to pay my payment and every month. No. All I got to do is get up and go to work. But it was progression, and it all starts with the application. Answer what's asked of you. Have you been convicted of a felon in the last 5 years?
Say yes.
Why would you say yes if you've been in prison 10 years? You have not been convicted of a felon in the last 5 years. You've been in prison 10 years. They didn't ask you, have you been in prison? They said, have you been convicted of a felon in the last 5 years? The answer is no.
Unless the individual had the answer yes. I guess the point I was trying to say is
the answer yes. The answer yes is, have you ever been convicted of a felon? Answer the question. Have you ever been convicted of a felon? I'm going to put yes. Have you been convicted of a felon in the last 5 years? How? And I did 16 years in prison. How? No. No, I haven't. Are you on probation? Yes, we'll explain. Those things are not going to outweigh the degree, the recommendations, the attitude during the interview. Those things are not going to outweigh those things. They never are. Because now people are curious and they're looking at it like, well, damn, he want to work. So you go in there and you're prepared because you know your craft. You've already studied your craft. You're not hanging out with your boys. You're not doing this thing. You're studying your craft. I'm studying my craft right now and I'm already there. I got it right here beside me. But I'm trying to move. I gave out 23 jobs last year. I got about 15 of those guys. These guys are making $43 an hour after 4 years with full benefits for them and their entire family for free. For their entire family for free. You know what I'm saying? With a driver's license and a high school diploma. They got 401k, they got pension. All of that gives you respect. When you meet that young lady or you meet that person and they see, oh, okay, well, what if we have a kid? Well, everything's covered, baby. We don't have to pay nothing. The $25 copay. You know, you got to shoot for the start. You don't have to go to Hardee's and McDonald's. No, fill out applications. It's not New York. It ain't an application fee.
Over there, yeah. That's a good place. That's a lot of people don't understand the importance of a pension and the 401k, and they learn it too late, man. They learn it too late. Oh my God.
Listen. You need those things because you're gonna get old. You know, you're gonna get old. All this right here used to be black. Well, I had gray since high school, but it used to be black. You know, I'm 54 years old now. How much longer do you think I'm gonna run around here and just do what I'm doing? You know, 60, 65, 70. I mean, after a while, you got to sit down and do what? You know, you have to prepare yourself, set yourself up. You know, so you look for, and if you are working at Hardee's, okay, any assistant manager's job after 5 years, management, what are you trying to do? You
Have
know,
some goals, right? You got to have
right,
some. So, and
right. Know
are
your
you a
craft.
grandfather?
Know about Hardee's. Know the year that it started. Know what kind of burgers they make. Know the specs on the machine. Know how to clean the machine. Know how to do everything. You got to know these. These are things that you can learn on your own. Like you learning them rap songs and you learning the country songs and you're learning about people business and you're doing this and you're doing that. You can learn these things on your own. You know, you can learn them on your own. Because believe it or not, a lot of men have made mistakes that are in positions to say, okay, this dude's serious, he ready, and I'm gonna give him an opportunity. Because I believe if you build a foundation, if you fall, you got somewhere to land.
Wow. And I commend you because you're going back and you're helping others, you're helping the brothers, you're speaking. And if you need a speaker, if you need a young man to come and talk to young men in the classrooms, in the different places, how can they reach you if they would like for you to come and do that, Beefy? What's the best way for people to contact you?
Well, the information that you're going to put up with my Instagram, I'll forward that to you. They can
What is
always reach
IG?
me.
Because I can put that up there now.
Oh man, now you put me on the
Check
spot.
it out and be looking it up while I'm talking. So
Okay.
definitely, if you are looking for a young man to speak to your guys, those that have been in prison, those that have not. Right now, he currently enjoys talking with young men, sharing his story, encouraging them, being an inspiration, educating them, and directing them. He's in upper management in a Fortune 500 company right now. He talks about the whole thing, the struggle of rebuilding, and he'll answer questions if you need questions answered. He'll talk about the life after you get locked up, the relationship ups and downs, how to get that woman to believe in you. Marriage. He's been married 25 years and now he's remarried. He now has the things that everybody wants: a six-figure job, a home, the cars, children in college, children in sports. Whatever you need to know, he can tell you about it. And if he can't tell you, I'm sure he will direct you to someone who can. Am I correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And you can read me. My Instagram is my name, Julius Dillard. And you can also reach me through my email. And that's JD1 Celtic, CELTICFAN at yahoo.com. So it's JD1 Celtic fan at yahoo.com. Yeah.
So wait a minute. So you got to tell me that email again because I want to put it up here. Email is JD1.
Celtic, CELTICFAN. Number one Celtic fan at yahoo.com.
Fan at yahoo.com.
Yep, that's me. Yeah, Yahoo. You laughing like my daughter's Yahoo, daddy. I'm like, yo, what is it supposed to be? You might as well do AOL, they told me. Whatever that is.
Okay. And if they're interested, if you would like him to speak. Okay. So we'll make sure.
Or if it's one-on-one, if you got a son that you just need somebody, he just needs somebody to talk to. He's headed down that road because listen, you ain't got to listen now, but you're going to listen when you get in there. You're going to school. You're going to work. You're going to do everything that they ask you to do, or you're going to go put in a 6x9. And believe me, that's not for us. 3 years, I didn't know if it was cold, hot, sun, raining, nothing. You just down there, and if you think you can do it, take away the cell phone. That's going to kill you right there, most of these kids. And put yourself in the bathroom for the weekend. And somebody come knock on the door every 6 hours and give them some food. You can't come out the bathroom now because that's a replica of the cell other than your bed. You got a toilet, you got a sink, and you got a bed. And that's where you're going to be until you abide by the rules. If you don't want to abide by the rules, then you'll just beat it.
Now, let me ask you this, because you said make sure you put you first, and then later on you'll be able to deal with the family. So later on, you'll be able to get with your children and be the dad that they need you to be. I'm sure that when you finally did that, your children were excited because you're a grandfather too, right?
Absolutely.
How many grandchildren?
4.
How is that? Don't you just love being a granddad? Isn't that
the kids don't even exist no more. It's about the little ones, except for my baby boy, But I mean, really, honestly, what I mean by that, and I don't want people to take that out of content, so I'm going to, elaborate on a little bit. I know we got to go, but let me say this: you're no good to anybody else until you're good to yourself. If you're not feeling good about yourself, if you're up at arms about yourself, If you're in between, then, my daughters, they wanted to do lunch and all this. I got to go to work. They wanted, well, you working all the time. Can I get some money? No. I got to have somewhere to live. You know what I mean? Now, look, you can come over and stay in my guest room. You can stay in your own room. You can go up on the third floor and do whatever you want to do. You can watch TVs all over the house. You can eat what you want to eat. And daddy can help you out every now and then if he need to. I never stopped giving you my love. I just couldn't give you my time because I had to take my time and concentrate on me. And these women, first of all, these guys, I'm not going to say the women. My first wife, 16, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, who's going to sit in the house? She didn't put you there. You put you there.
That's
so
right.
Man up.
That's right.
Man, allow her to live her one life with respect. You understand what I'm saying? Which, if she had respect for you before you went there, she's going to have respect for you while you're there. Stop looking for things. You know how they say, if you look for it, you're going to find it. Develop a relationship, especially if it's a kid. Me and my first, man, love each other to death. Best friend. You understand what I'm saying? She don't interfere in my relationship. She don't disrespect my wife. I'm not going to disrespect my wife. If it's something I want to do for her, I'm going to run it by my wife unless it's something minor. And we all a big family. Because that's how it's always been.
That's right.
And that's how it works. And we can all lean on each other. If it may be conversation, it may be words. My daughter's graduating next week. She just came by and gave me this whole big list of things she wants for her cookout.
That's nice.
Daddy, can I use your house? And I'm gonna come over and I'm gonna have a cookout. Now, she didn't say, Daddy, could I go rent somewhere? She said, Daddy, can I use your house? That means she's proud of what I have. And I appreciate that. That's a pat on my own back to me. That's more encouragement to me. That fuels my soul. Okay, boy, you must be doing pretty good. You're doing good. The good job, Pat yourself on the back. Give yourself that encouragement because nobody else, they don't have to give it to you.
That's right.
Some people will do it, but I'm saying they don't have to. You have to you have to know yourself. You have to know to be prepared for the letdowns, for the move forwards, for the disappointments. If she's with somebody else, then she ain't for you. I mean, that's it. And that's just the bottom line, and you'll find someone, but ain't no need of you getting someone until you get you together. What are you coming to the table with? A half of you?
Let me tell you something. I am so proud of you. I can remember when I used to tell you, all right now, I look at you now, I'm like, wow, he did it, man. I'm so proud of you. Like, you don't have no clue how proud
By the grace of God, I just did it my way. But he knew I wasn't a bad person. And they say, God, watch out for fools and babies. I don't know which one I was, but I was one of them. And I appreciate it. And I thank him for it every day. I count my blessings. And I still look forward to doing what I can to help those. Most of the assistance that I got from people were people that I kept away from the block. Don't come up here. Go on. Get on away from up here. Go on. Get on. Go to school. Go do this. Go do that. And it wasn't that we were that much older than each other. It was just a respect barrier. I'm in the jungle. You don't need to come in here. You stay out there. Don't come in here. Stay out there. Go and do what you got to do. You're going to be a lawyer. You're going to be a basketball. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. You don't need this, right? It's enough of us up here. We good. What you need? You need something here. You go ahead, because that's what it takes. It's for somebody, and it just happened to be for me,
Well, Ricky,
so
I'm going to let you give some final thoughts. I want you to take about 10 seconds and think about it. I would love for you to give closing comments in regards to anything you want to talk about. I know I asked you a lot of questions about a lot of things, from family to relationship to doing your time. Any final thoughts you would like to leave for any individual in regards to, like we said, why being a felon is just not final?
Right. I'll leave with this. Believe in yourself. Invest in yourself. If you're spiritual and you believe in God and you're praying, listen. It'll come on his time. When he's ready, when he feels as though you're ready. Accept those things that will help you move forward. You know, there's no need for nobody calling me talking about, hey, I got a couple keys. You can call me and tell me I got a couple, you know, I got a job, you know, and, you know, crawl before you walk. It's always been like that. You always got to crawl before you walk. When you came out, you crawl before you walk, you know, and set that pride aside, man. I was proud to be at Mike Dot's shop. It wasn't about the money. I had a job. I was proud. I'm home. I got a job. I was wiping those cars and shining them up. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? For real. Be proud of what you do. Don't worry about what nobody else doing. You see what I'm saying? Because those same people, when you get to the top, are going to be right there doing that same thing, talking about folks, worrying about folks, and you moving on in life, you know. And these young guys out here in the streets, man, you know, all due respect to whatever your set is, but there's a better way, man. You know, these guys, you know, we have these organizations out here. I don't even want to call them gangs, because the Hells Angels, they don't call them gangs, and Al Qaeda, they don't call them gangs, but they respect them because they got numbers, and they're judges and they're lawyers and they're top officials, and when it comes to Al Qaeda, they're crazy. They'll pull the bomb on you in a minute, and they know that. So they take care of these people because they fear them, because they're together. So let's come together as a race, man. We don't got to do nothing but demand what we deserve. You know, all due respect to everybody, but I don't think nothing was worse than slavery. So don't talk to me about the Holocaust and all these other things. I respect it. I feel for these people, but man, look what we went through as a people. So we got to come together and be able to help each other and believe in each other and do things. But you have to set forth the attitude to let me know that that's where you want to be, because don't nobody want to be bothered with a problem. So believe in yourself, learn your craft. Chance favors the well prepared. Listen, observe, and you know, when your time come, because it's gonna come. When your time come, then present your best self. You know, let's just say you're never gonna get out. Well, be the one to prepare them in there to get out. You know, do things in there to feel good about what you're sending out here to society. Get those young men together. You had your chance. You're there for a reason. You're there for a reason. Maybe that's your domain. Maybe that's where you're supposed to be. So act upon it and do for those who you can, and those who don't, then maybe one day they'll catch it. You know? But I really appreciate you allowing me to be a part of your podcast. Hopefully somebody out there heard something. You know, it's not over because you got a felony, man. It's not over. It's just not over.
Not by long shot. Not by long shot. And Danny,
it's not easy.
Said, amen.
It's not easy, but it's not over.
That's it. And there you have it. Beefy, thank you so much. I'm going to let you go. For those of you, if this is your first time here, just remember you're listening to Story Time, where we come together. It's Story Time where human beings connect through life experiences. So we're going to sign out, and we're going to be back on what's today? Today is Thursday. We'll be back Sunday at 6:00 p.m. And check it out. I got my own song now, y'all. So we're going to go out with my song. I was playing my girl for a long time. It's your time to shine. Beefy, I love you. I can't wait to meet the new missus, because I haven't met her yet. And, man, keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep doing what you're doing. I'll look to hear from you next week to follow up. And listen, guys, check me out. YouTube, I'll send you the link so you can go ahead and have this and share this, okay?
All right.
Have a blessed one. And I'll see y'all next time on Story Time, 6:00 p.m. Eastern. All right? We're going to go out and do something like this. Peace out.
All right, y'all. Send me them kids. Right, send me the bad ones.
All right. Thank you, baby. All right. We're going to go out a little something like this. Let's see if I can get it to play. And we're not going
to catalyst for change with the chance to thrive. Crystal is the one to stir up gifts and save lives. You get exposure, promotion, and marketing too, and advertise for business owners just like you. On Storytime, your interview is global. Virtual or in person, just come on the show. Yo, your story matters. Crystals will open the door. 40 years of experience, ready to give you more on story time. Get ready for story time. Hey, come on.
All right, y'all.